the more you produce, the more you need to sell, right? So, and the more chance you get to not sell them. I think it's more meaningful to actually buy something, not because of the trend, but because you know you're going to wear it every day. This industry is amazing, right? Creativity, fashion show, campaign, photo shoot. But you have the dark side of it where you need to take responsibility.
Welcome back to Behind Your Wardrobe. This is a podcast series where we unravel stories about your clothes that went behind and beyond just your wardrobe. This is Burairot, your host for this podcast series. So if you've been watching us in the past episode, you will notice that I will be speaking in English in this episode because we have a very interesting guest joining us today. And previously, we have discussed about how textile waste is a growing issue in Cambodia and also talks about how mindful consumption can be a way to reduce textile waste. So in this episode, we will explore about the quality over quantity in fashion consumption. And without any further delay, let's meet our guest today. Hello, Bong.
Hi, hello.
Hi. Could you please introduce yourself first?
Yeah. So my name is Tifanny. I'm a fashion designer and co-founder of Revivre Studio. I came in Cambodia 5 years ago to create that brand. So I was a fashion designer since France to Cambodia.
Can you tell us how you get into the fashion industry?
I think it was since I'm a young kid. I was 12 years old, and my mom bought me a drawing kit about fashion. So since that day, I was like, oh yeah, I know what I want to do. So I study art school, and then I went to specialize into fashion. And then, yeah, now I have my brand.
Yeah, what about Revive? How did you start it?
So I think Revive was my end game after study. When you study fashion, you have different industry that you want to go in, right? But I wanted to open my own brand since the beginning. So Revive came with the idea of reviving old story, unforgotten cultures of Cambodia or Asia in general. So that's why the brand is called Revive, which is a French word meaning revive.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the objective behind creating this brand, like the philosophy you have with your brand?
The philosophy is to actually work with dead stock fabric. So we're only working with whatever the country is offering us. So any technique of printing or fabrics that we can source around the store, it's just like, okay, we are based on what we have in the country. So we're respecting everything around 50 kilometers around our office.
So as we all know, I think that the fashion industry is growing very rapidly, like with fast fashion and the rapid production of clothing. And also, I would say the consumption of it is also fast. And many people are talking about quality over quantity in terms of fashion consumption. What does that mean to you?
So basically, people who are buying or consuming a lot of fast fashion are, I don't think it's like, in a way, it will not last long because you are not buying for the quality, you're buying for the fashion, you're buying for the colors of it or the trends of it. So that's why I think people are more aware these days to actually buy better because I think also you're getting tired of buying to throw it away in a month or something because of the quality that is not really good, right? And I think it's something that people are beginning to bring awareness more and more into the world, actually. Yeah.
So to you personally, what does buying better means to you?
I think better, it's not only about sustainability. I think it's also about story. So you're buying for, of course, like the quality of it, the ethic of that clothes, that how it was made, how it was designed. But I think it's also about the soul of that clothes. So you're buying because that clothes was made by a designer who wanted to tell you something through that clothes. So it's an overall. I think it's more meaningful to actually buy something not because of the trend, but because you know you're gonna wear it every day. So every time talking with my clients or potential clients, I'm like, are you sure you want to buy this? Because it's not about like me wanting to sell something. It's more about, are you going to wear that clothes?
Yes.
Because, you know, usually when you're buying young designer pieces, you tend to think, oh, it's a special piece that you want to keep and wear for special occasion. But my clothes are designer clothes that I want people to wear every day, you know? Like a pants is meant to be wear every day, you know? So it's not only because you are buying designers that it's just for special occasion. It needs to be like for every day, you know?
I see. So can you share us like what are the pieces or the construction of your clothes, like the value that you put into making it?
So my clothes, I'm trying to make it very like as comfortable as I can and also functional. So all my pants for women or men has the same deepness of pockets. So you can put your phone, you can put anything. Because it's also because I'm designing based on all the difficulties or problems that I'm finding in clothes. So I'm trying to fix it into my design. I think the most important thing for me is to be comfortable in your clothes, to be functional, to actually put your phone in your pockets or to be able, you know, but in a stylish way as well. And also our jackets, we're trying to push that technique. It takes a long time. But all the scraps that we are gathering from cutting off our clothes, we're cutting them again. And then we're doing a new lining with that. So we're trying to experiment this kind of like zero waste textile pieces. Yeah.
So that's one of the way where you help reduce waste in the industry. Are there any other ways that your brand is doing?
So we also upcycling pieces. We're working in very like close collaboration with Remade in Cambodia. So it's all the clothes are from the river or secondhand clothes, dead stock fabric as well. So yeah, we are trying to actually use, because I think we have enough textile in Cambodia that we can use already. We don't need to produce more, I would say. So we never gonna call a factory to actually produce our own textile. We're gonna go to the market and see what they can offer us. So sometimes the choice are limited, but it's okay. The challenge is how we're gonna think in a creative way to actually turn that kind of dead stock fabric into a new piece. So everything is reused, I would say, or we also cutting down the dead stock. So we are not gonna produce new. We're using what we have right now.
Can you tell us like why are there excess amount of that stock fabrics from different places like factories and stuff?
So main reason is when you are ordering your own fabric, sometimes you want to have enough. So of course you're going to over order, right? So when you're going to over order, you did all your batch from clothes. So sometimes you have like 5 roll that are left in the factory, so it's going into our market. So I think it's just like the companies are being like safe in a way to say, okay, we have enough to produce, so let's over order just in case, you know. And yeah, sometimes they don't need that much, you know, but it's also how to control your stock and quantity.
Yeah. So, as a designer yourself and also a founder, like how do you balance aesthetic, quality, and also maintaining to ensure that you're environmentally conscious in your production?
Um, so people may think, I mean, in the fashion industry, I think some brands will think it's hard to be sustainable, to be designer, aesthetic pleasing, everything, you know, and also a business. Because in the end, we are also a business, right? We need money to pay our team, to pay the rent. So I don't think it's hard. I think you need to stick to your value. Because for me, being a sustainable brand, it's a must. Because every time you're opening a company, everyone is saying, do you have a business plan? Yeah, of course I have a business plan. But to be a sustainable business plan, it will be in the future a must for sure. Like people will need to be turning into a sustainability brands in the future if you want to have a fashion brands, because economic sides, it got proven that if you're being sustainable and saving the waste and everything, it would just save you money, you know. So it's a good solution, you know. And also I think ethically, As an industry that are polluted a lot in this world, I think we have the responsibility as well as a designer, not to only make money, but to protect this industry. This industry is amazing, right? Creativity, fashion show, campaign, photo shoot. But you have the dark side of it where you need to take responsibility. You doing something for people because clothes everyone is wearing, right? So you have, starting from that moment, you have a responsibility to actually be sustainable, control your stock, to have values about that. And it would just benefit you in a way, because you're controlling your stock, transparency about your company through the customer, the stock as well, so you don't have a lot of unsell items as well.
Yeah. Also, you have mentioned before that you don't want to focus on having fashion show because you feel like it's getting overwhelming, especially in Cambodia. Can you share us your thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
I think my thoughts is not has not been said yet. But I'm French, so I'm really like honest about my thoughts. And also when it comes to fashion, I'm kind of like protective about this because Cambodia is a amazing country that is growing up very fast, right? So you have every industry, every category of work is for me like a blank page. So you have your chance to start anything you want in Cambodia. Everything for me is possible in Cambodia as long as you keep going and you have the motivation. So when it comes to fashion show, I understand the power of it. The real power of it is to showcase what you are as a designer. What are you capable of as a designer? So sometimes it just like, it turns into a business with sponsor and everything. And it just make me like sad a bit. Like I don't want to be into that circle when you're producing a show just to do a show. Because it's something that you can see abroad, Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. So you want to have that access to fashion show,
Yeah.
right? And in Cambodia, it's, since you have many possibilities, many connection. Cambodia is small, so you can get this with sponsor, with location sponsor as well. But I think even in fashion show, we're getting into that fast fashion show. So in a way, it's getting not sustainable. And since I'm a sustainable brand, I don't think my point of view into fashion show is like the same meaning as right now. So for me, if I'm gonna do a fashion show, it's because I'm ready to showcase something new to Cambodia, something special for Cambodia. I'm not gonna showcase t-shirt or pants. Not offense to t-shirt or pants. They are good basics, but is it worth it to do like a big production and installation with lights and music and everything just for that?
Yeah. So, because like sustainable fashion is quite new, and especially in Cambodia, and as a brand owner yourself, do you think it's hard to push this kind of thoughts into the market?
I don't think so. At first, I was thinking like that. I was like, because Cambodia, we are a little bit late compared to our neighborhoods country. I was like, oh yeah, maybe it's gonna be hard. Of course, it's gonna be hard to be into a more circular fashion in Cambodia, but it's not only Cambodia, around the world.
Yeah.
So I don't think we never gonna get this because I think the locals are already upcycling things. Sometimes when I'm seeing a tuk-tuk, some tuk-tuk, they already upcycle pieces or something to get their tuk-tuk together. So unconsciously, they are already doing upcycling. It's not new in Cambodia. It just, we're putting a words into it. But locals are already doing it. Of course, throwing their waste and everything on the floor and something like that, it's not something that they don't know. They are not aware about this. So it's just like how to bring more awareness. I believe that as long as we're bringing more awareness, like today, we can make them aware about this situation. But I don't think it's something like impossible or hard. I think it's just like communication. Yeah.
So you mentioned that your brand focused on limiting production size in order to control the quality of each pieces. And why is producing smaller quantities important in ensuring that?
Since we are small brands, it's also controlling our stock in terms of economy. The more you produce, the more you need to sell, right? So, and the more chance you get to not sell them because you cannot, like, fashion is a really specific industry where you need to make everyone's happy in a bit, in a way. Like, they need to like your design. So it's all about taste and point of view. The more you produce and the better chance you have to have a lot of stock that are not gonna be sell, right? So that's why for us, it's we are working into a more like pre-order system where we can control the stock, but also offer an experience to the client. We have our size chart, so they can choose between different size, right? So that's why it's not like customized; it's more pre-order, and we can control it and then see which pieces work well or not. And so the one who are not going to work well, we're not going to produce or change a bit the design. And I think for us as a small brand, it's more like safe decision first, but also to make it special in a way as well. We're not overproducing, you know, these are special pieces, you know. It's like, okay, when you're a mom and you're giving birth, you're not gonna give birth like 10 times, you know. So it's just like this as well. We're taking times to make one of the pieces.
Can you walk us through like from design to production process?
Yeah. So sometimes it's just like we going to Orasei market and then we seeing like a new fabric that can be interesting into our brands. Or sometimes we're just looking for something we have in mind. Sometimes we cannot find it. Sometimes yes. And we're taking a small amount of it, or sometimes it's just like one roll. So we're taking the whole roll and we're using it as a whole collection, right? And so I'm thinking about the concept first, like what message I want to say into that collection. Because it's not about only designing beautiful clothes. I think this one is secondary in the steps. The first step is to say, like, okay, is your collection worth it to be out? Because I'm really inspired by rap music. And rap, it's all about emotion and lyrics, you know? So I would say, like, I'm a rapper, but in the fashion industry. Because I want to say something, you know? It's not like about, because in rap, it's tricky because you cannot go wrong. It means everything is in your lyrics, in the rhythm of it, you know. And in fashion, I would say it's the same. Your collection will speak for yourself. Like a song is speak to the listener, right? But when you sing a collection, it's more about, okay, you understand something. It's not about like, oh yeah, we'll be cool with that clothes. Of course you will be cool. But it's about how you're gonna understand that collection. And that's a hard thing for a designer, about like bringing emotion to the customer, right? So when that concept is done and the mood board is done as well, we're beginning to experiment some new shape on the mannequin, taking pictures, working on Photoshop, making the clothes and new shape, you know, like experimentation. That's a long process. And then you starting the sketches. Sketches is a tricky part. Sometimes you don't have inspiration. So sometimes I'm just like at my house and just looking at the ceiling. I'm like, I'm waiting for the inspiration to come, you know? So it's like an artist, you know. Even rapper, they sometimes they cannot put on lyrics. And it's the same with designers. Sometimes there's 2 weeks I'm at home doing nothing because it's blocking, you know. So when those sketches are done, you doing the technical drawing. So these are like flat drawing to understand the shape of the clothes. After that, you bring it to the atelier, which is the production team. And with the production team, you're discussing about sample that we need to make, and then it's going with fitting. With fitting, when everything is confirmed, we're doing the real piece. After the real piece, we're doing styling. Okay, which piece is going to go with which piece? And then we're doing the photo shoot, campaign video. And then the goal will be to go retail as well. So in my shop, we're putting this at the store or on the website.
I see. How long does this process usually take?
Um, I would say for me, the ideal part would be 6 months from the concept to the final product. But we are sometimes late, so we need to finish this in like 3 months or 4 months. But I would say 6 months is a good amount for me to do my collection. Yeah.
I see. It's very contrasting with fast fashion because from my research, it's only like 15 days to create a
Yeah.
collection. Yeah.
So the difference is I'm the only one who's designing. Those fast fashion brands, they have like 20 people to look on fashion shows, the new trends. Because, so fast fashion is different because they are not creating something. They are getting inspired by the fashion week and then creating something based on the trends. That's why every time you sing magazine, it's like new trends for spring, summer 2026. It's like that. And then they're looking for trends. But us as designer, we are creating the new trends. So it's like, okay, we're going to be like the vision for the future. Instead of fast fashion, they're following us.
Okay, so can you share us more about how your brand try to limit waste in terms of waste management in your production?
So the first step is when you're putting the patterns on the fabric, we're trying to stick them together as close as we can. So the rest of it, we can use it with another piece, right? But these days, we are stocking a lot of like scraps, like 50 cm of scrap, 20 cm of scrap, and it's getting a lot right now. So it's not an issue, but we're trying to see what is our limit. We're trying to handle it like the best we can. But sometimes it's hard how to limit those kind of scraps. Sometimes it's like cannot use it and stuff like that. But this day we are thinking of reworking our packaging
I see.
because our packaging is very like high-end, good quality paper and everything. But we have a lot of scraps. So I was thinking, why not using those scraps to actually do our packaging? So we have boxes and boxes of that. So this year we're gonna try to experiment that as well, or to do garment cover with our scraps. Like patches and everything. And it's not an easy task, I would say. Waste management is not easy. It's how you're gonna control your retail stock as well, and it's also how to be able to share your fabric as well, because in the market, people can have the same fabric as you, right? So sometimes it's just not to be greedy and just take enough that you need what you need, and then that's it.
And it was very interesting take where you said that you are kind of like the rapper in fashion
Yeah.
industry, and you also, as far as I know, dress some of the rappers in Cambodia. Do you think that influencing, like their influence, can contribute to more mindful consumptions of fashion among Cambodian youth?
Of course. Of course. Everyone, not even a rapper or artist, but also influencer, actors, everyone who has a big audience or not, even 5,000 followers, you reaching 5,000 people. So I think everyone, even you, even like my parents or my brother, like anyone around us has an impact. It's about I'm behaving like this. If people can behave like this as well, then we can have a step closer to a more like circular fashion. So I think everyone has a voice into this.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, from your perspective, how does fashion consumption in Cambodia impact the environment, and especially in terms of textile waste?
So Cambodia is a big industry for fashion. It's also one of our biggest revenue as economy. So I think, of course, we need to handle the waste better, I would say. Um, I think it's also part of not only the government, but also ourselves as locals. Um, and I think it's about like the movement, like the next generation coming, the Gen Z, and more generation coming as well. I think everyone will have a responsibility in the future for that. So the impact will be strong for sure. But I would say I think it's about how to bring that community together. It's I would say the solution will be to make it as a trend in a way. I know it's bad to say that because sustainability is not a trend, but it's just how we're going to change the point of view of people. So if we are promoting this as a really like fashionable way that is cool, then it's all good for everyone, right? And also to bring awareness about what you're wearing, like, because I don't think it's like people will be happy to actually consume fast fashion and then in a month you're going to throw away your t-shirt. So that's why I think it's just a matter of time. I know we don't have a lot of time. So that's why we need more communication about that. Yeah.
So for someone who's listening right now and they want to stay away from like fast fashion and overconsumption, what is the tip that you want to share for them?
Support your locals. That's, I think, we have a lot of criticize about China because of the quality and everything, but China is having like their own system. They don't need everyone in this world. They have everything. Cars made in China, this made in China, and Chinese people are actually buying their own thing. So it's more about like buy your locals. We have amazing snacks, amazing food, amazing designer clothes, and people are also pushing skincare, a lot of makeup as well. Just support them. And you will see like, first of all, when you're supporting locals, you are contributing to sustainable way because you're buying in your country. And I think it's also be more conscious about the quality of your clothes as well. I think it's important not only to be, okay, I need to have a good conscience. It's not only about being a good, sustainable person. It's also for yourself. You're going to spend money on fast fashion. You're going to spend again and again and again. It's your own money that is getting to waste as well. Not only textile, but also your money. So when you're buying designers, you have an investment. You're investing into something that you will wear for a lot of years.
Can you share a tip on how to actually spot good quality clothing?
So usually, a lot of clothes are synthetic one. I need to admit, I have a lot of synthetic as well, but I'm not producing them. It's because in our market, we have a lot of like synthetic fabrics. So I'm just gathering them to my place and then do something better with it. But I would say it's about the stitching as well, the quality of the shape of it, and also where is it made?
I see.
Yeah, ethically or not. But yeah, support the made in Cambodia. I think it's important.
So in a way, it's like about also understanding transparency behind each clothing.
Yeah.
Why is it important that we need to know about how our clothes is made?
I think it's building the trust between the brands and the clients. I think it's more than a relationship where they're only your clients and buying your clothes. They're gonna be part of your brands, because without them, you have no brands. You have no sales, you have no nothing. So I think it's important to build that trust, not only with one sales and money, but also through what you're doing for the community. So that's why I think it's important to showcase that so they can trust you. It's about trust as well, not only about like, oh, your clothes are amazing or about money. It's about also how you're going to build that connection between the brands and the clients. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's also kind of like building a good relationship with your clothes is also a way to help you buy more consciously, right?
Yeah, because in the end of the day, we are all humans. We have emotion and everything, right? So when you're buying, you buying also something that you see as a human. You want to support me because you don't like only my clothes, but you like the value that I hold. And I think when you're sharing the same value, that's what is also important. And that's how you're going to create a community as well. So in Cambodia, it's nice because a lot of people are buying clothes to support as well because they believe in you, they believe in the how can I say that, in your own message that you want to say. So the more you're doing that, the better I would say the fashion industry will be in the future.
Thank you for sharing your insights with us today. It was very valuable to understand that quality in fashion goes beyond just the production of clothing, but also the aesthetic of each pieces as well. And for listeners who's listening today, choosing quality over quantity can be the most effective way to reduce waste as well. And thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.